Off we go into our Sunday morning message. So good morning and welcome to each and every one of you. I know we have several people who are new this morning. Welcome. I am Barbara. I'm the minister here. I'm so glad that all of you have joined us this morning. About 2 months ago, we set out some green comment cards and we asked for anyone who was willing to give us your honest and straightforward feedback about our Sunday services, what you would like to see, the messages, the music. Any part of this really is open to your comment and your suggestion and your feedback, because we want to grow this community. We want to see it continue to thrive and expand, and so really we want your feedback. And pretty much what we're going to talk about in a few minutes, the last 5 or 6 weeks of our messages here through today and even through next week have come as a result of these comment cards. So I stuck one in my hand so I wouldn't forget it. Please do remember to fill those out as we're closing up here today. As we start, always I just want to say thank you. Thank you for being a part of our community this morning. I am really grateful for the opportunity to be alive, to be well and healthy, and to be a minister. I never envisioned this. Let's just get real clear. I won't tell you what I did envision. We could have bars, and it wasn't pretty. Orange is the new black sort of reality. But, it's kind of scary when we look at the first 30 years of my life and then what happened in the second 2. Yeah, because I'm only like 32, right? You believe that? Let's talk afterward. But I just want to say thank you. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful that we have the opportunity to do this, to explore the spiritual path together, to learn and to grow, and to take those learnings and the love that we find here, and work to change this world, to not just change it for ourselves and create better lives for ourselves, but to create better lives for all of everything and everyone everywhere. That's every species, even the ones that I catch and throw back out of my house, even the ones that slither and they, by God, better never come in my house, okay? That's like, okay? But really, we're just grateful. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to do this. It's huge, and I feel like I know I always have choice, but I feel like I am compelled to be here and to do what I do, so I'm really grateful for the opportunity to have each and every one of you here with us. It's Father's Day, and so if you are a dad, if you are a biological dad, an adoptive dad, a surrogate dad, any kind of father, please feel free to stand up right now, and if you don't, I know most of you who are dads, so get off your feet. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you, guys. So, and we have, maybe I'll get Carol to help with this. We have candy to go around for everyone. Again, we thank you, dads, for allowing us to have candy and for just being dad, okay? It's very interesting, the whole thing of being a dad is all about creating and being the creative principle of something. Obviously, without fathers involved, none of us would be here today. In my own childhood, my dad was all about fixing. He was the one who had the answers. He was the one who could set it right. If it was automotive or electrical in nature, he could look at it and tell you what was wrong with it. About 6 months after I was born, my parents bought an unusual, it was actually an MG sedan, not the kind of roadster most people picture, but a sedan. This was it was before 1960, but we won't say how much before, okay? And when we sold that vehicle upon my father's death in 1975, part of what went with it was incredible, was the little notebooks that you buy at the store with every time he checked the tire pressure or changed the oil. The first summer I had my driver's license, I tore the clutch out of the blankety blank thing and didn't have a vehicle to drive and had to help him pull the engine so we could change the clutch that summer. I learned to cuss better than most women can. It just was the most unbelievable experience, but it was phenomenal. He really could fix anything. We thank you, dads, for doing what you have done and doing what you do and continue to do, being dads. For most of us, in looking at that relationship with our fathers, we've had very different experiences. Some of us, may have had dads that were intrinsically a part of our childhood and our early life. Others may have had dads such as mine. He drove an hour to get to work, so most mornings he was gone before I ever woke up. Many days it was late when he got home and I didn't see him. He had things that he tended to on the weekends, one of which was the automotive stuff of keeping, both my parents' vehicles and my two older brothers' vehicles running. So, he was busy. He had stuff going on all the time. And realistically, when he died in 1975, I felt like I had never met him or really known him. I don't know that we ever had any. We had one shouting match, I remember that, and we probably had some heart-to-heart conversations when I was way little, but I don't really remember them. I know others, again, you had experiences where maybe your dad was out of the home because he was traveling, or your family was involved in the military, and so dad was, off doing his thing there, okay? Kind of being a father figure to even more than just the family, but, but the country and the world at large, okay, in a big way. I think one thing that we can all agree on is that this kind of a holy day, this kind of holiday, conjures up emotions, and sometimes there are things that are unresolved. And the reality of that is that that's fine. It's always fine, okay? It's really important for us to be where we are and how we are with all of that, okay? And just to recognize that for the part that whatever we experienced, in the part of our lives that our Father played and supported, we say thank you for that. Okay. Some of us may have had dads that we wish we hadn't ever known. That happens too. So, we just understand that the whole process is a journey, and we say thank you for it because it's certainly a learning experience. Psychologists and psychiatrists tell us that all of our adult relationships are based on the relationships we have with our parents. That just really, I'm not even going to comment, that just makes me crazy to even think about it, okay? But, they're just, all I know is I'm still weird, and if it was anything that had to do with them, well, God bless all of us, okay? We all need a little help, don't we? So, when I think of Father's Day, always I think of the father of science of mind. Let's see the next slide there, okay? This is Ernest Shurtleff Holmes, the father of science of mind. He was born in 1887. To parents who had 9 boys, 8 of them lived, and they were itinerant. They lived in the wilds of Maine for most of his early life without a home. I would find a whip and I would not live, I would not make it. He lived until 1960, and he never had any decisions or any decisions, but any real idea as a child or a young man to create a religion. What he was an incredibly, intensely curious child who grew up to be a very intensely curious adult who wanted to study everything. And a lot of his early teaching was on God. He grew up in a Christian home where they taught the Bible. His mother taught from the Bible. She might have taught it a little differently than many of us have experienced that. She was adamant that he would not grow up fearing God, which of course even for this day and age is pretty unusual in some teachings. That's kind of the underlying facet of many of our spiritual teachings today in the world, which is sad. But he was incredibly inquisitive and was always asking why. He studied world religions, science, things like quantum science before it was quantum science, things like philosophy. He had one of those minds that could see something and remember it and bring it back just like that years later. He probably was brilliant. He had what we might consider to be about an 8th grade education. But he is the father of our movement. Much like John Wesley, who founded the Methodist teaching, the Methodist religion, he had no intention of ever creating a religion. He was a verbal guy, and he was very verbal in speaking. He did a lot of speaking, and as we know, he wrote a tremendous number of books and left those as a huge legacy. And after this kind of thing kind of got going, the people who were around him, which at that point were pretty much your white Anglo-Saxon wealthy entertainer population from the Hollywood, California area, said to him, Ernest, you've got to create a formal presence here. You've got to create a church or a school, or you've got to do something with this, because if you don't, this teaching will go by the wayside when you die. we can't keep it alive without something formal being created. And so, like John Wesley, he was kind of, encouraged / pushed to create what we know today as the science of mind teaching. I dare say that most of us wouldn't be in the room if it weren't for Ernest, although we might have found this truth teaching, somewhere along the line. It certainly is embedded or enmeshed with many other metaphysical teachings. But really, I'm grateful, when I think about this, for Ernest, for his family, and certainly his parents, what they must have experienced trying to raise 8 boys in Maine, where it's like snows until March or April or May or something. Forget me and that, okay? No, it's snowing today in Maine, right? It probably is. So I'm just grateful that all of that came to be and that we are here today. So we thank Ernest. I love this picture. This is probably, it's probably about 110 years old, because I'm thinking he's early 20s. Okay, maybe somewhere up to 30, and he was born in 1887, so yeah, he was just a hunk, wasn't he? When we talk about gratitude, that's a great segue for what we've been doing here the last several weeks at Open Door Center. And if you've been here, we've been looking at not only the nature of prayer going back the last 3 weeks, but for several weeks prior to that, the nature of God, because what we understand is that what we believe about God becomes the portal through which our prayer work is going to move. And if we have unclear concepts of God, not that we're ever going to know it all, Ernest was very clear about that, and so am I, but if we have a negative mindset about what the divine is, then our prayer work is going to be afflicted because of that. So we've been looking at all of that, and we find ourselves this week on the 4th step of prayer in science of mind, or what we call spiritual mind treatment. That's our fancy name for prayer here in science of mind. You don't have to call it that. You can call it prayer or intentional prayer or clear prayer. Effective prayer is another name, okay? But as we've been doing this, we've had little homework assignments the last couple of weeks, and Frank's already shared about his experience reading The Law of My Life. Last week we had copies of that. If you didn't get it, I'll make sure that you can get a copy of that. I don't know if we have any here, but we'll find it. We'll get it to you one way or the other, because it's a pretty outstanding piece of writing by Ernest. The encouragement was read that out loud at least once a day from last Sunday till today, and then come back and share your experience with us. Would anyone like to do that? If you would, you can stand up and just do it. Yeah? Going once. Going twice. Okay, we're having homework this week too, guys. Kay's going to share. Go for it, hon.
Well, I read it every day, and I definitely think everything's just going easier.
It's wonderful, isn't it? Yeah. Ernest could put some words out there, now I'm telling you, to make things really shape up, couldn't he? Yeah, Frank?
Well, just to reiterate, like she said, I program myself to do it. And if I forget, I give myself slack and then pick it up and read it whenever.
Just do it.
Just make sure you get it in there.
Yeah.
And I found myself going at it a couple of times. One day I read it 3 times.
That's
Good
great.
stuff, yeah.
That is great. And it's such a short hop from there to memorizing something like that and being able to pray that on an ongoing basis. The Bible tells us to pray ceaselessly. That's what we're talking about here. Okay? That's putting that word out there and claiming it and knowing it and seeing it manifest, seeing the feeling of that my life is going better just because I stand in front of the mirror or not, okay, dressed or not every morning, and I say something out loud to myself. What power that is. Did you have your hand up, Dave?
Yeah, when I was growing up in the 50s, I went to the U-Bell Theater and listened to him.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
He would say, all of our words and all of our thoughts are prayers.
Our prayers, they certainly are. And the thing about Ernest is that he had the funniest little voice, didn't he?
Yeah. I'm telling you how old I am.
Yeah, well, that's okay. We're right there with you, okay? We're right there with you. So if you didn't get a copy and you want that, please let me know. Yes, Gil.
Oh, not just reading it, but saying it out loud. And every day we read it out loud. it became more convincing to us. Our voices sound more convinced, the words have
Yes.
more meaning, and we emphasize certain words a little bit better, and I think we understood it because we were hearing our own voice.
Yes.
So we were making things manifest already
Yes.
by vocalizing it. And I inspire a lot of people during the week who are not very happy all the time. I talk to 600 or 700 people,
Golly.
and it's important that I am convinced that I know what I'm talking about as far as being happy or
It
inspiring.
does. It does. You know, when you come into a conversation with anybody, it can be a known or an unknown situation, what you bring to that is the overriding presence of that, okay? And if you walk into that knowing happy, knowing solution, knowing it's all working out, everybody is going to leave and it's going to be a win-win situation, what's going to happen? The obstacles are just going to evaporate, basically. That's awesome. If you didn't get a copy, let me know after the service. See me in the social hall, and I will make sure that you get that. It is powerful. And this is what we do in Foundations, guys. If you haven't signed up yet, please do that today, or at least by next Sunday, so that I know who's coming. I can get the textbooks or the manuals printed, and we'll be all ready to go. It's going to be an awesome Foundations class. This is the bread and butter. This is the, if you're hopefully not a vegetarian, the meat, okay? Or the soy, or the tempeh, or whatever, you know, the nut meat, or whatever, okay? This is the heart of it, okay? So we're going to move now talking about the fourth step of prayer in spiritual mind, in science of mind. That is what we call Thanksgiving, okay? And that is huge. It is all about gratitude. It's not just I'm grateful, though. I know many of you in your spiritual practice make a point of looking around at your world and recognizing, paying homage, if you will, to the things you are grateful for. That is a part of my spiritual practice. Every morning I sit down, this is, you know, after we feed the cats, okay, and after we get the coffee and do a few other things. And that's my time, okay? I drink my coffee, the boys look out the window at the birds, they're in heaven, I move into heaven, it's great, okay? And as I am doing that, I'm looking at what a blessing it is to have this time, what a blessing it is to have this life, what an amazing experience it is to look around the room and see my cats happy and healthy and, you know, weird, okay? They're just all weird cats. You know, for the coffee that I'm drinking, that's great. But this is even bigger than that. This is about embodying gratitude, okay? This is not just about paying lip service. It is about being gratitude for the things that we have worked to manifest, to demonstrate, to realize in that third step of prayer. We talked about that last week. Through the process of those first three steps, we have become more aware of our presence as a co-creator or an expression of the divine. We are more fully aware now and more fully clear, as Gil mentioned, more confident in our ability to create what it is we desire to see in our lives. And Gil made an awesome point that by standing up and speaking stuff out loud, this is where the rubber meets the road. You can think it all day, you can read it all day, okay? But when you stand your body up and you speak it, something changes. You become it, okay? In this fourth step of prayer, we say thank you for that which we are working to demonstrate. Remember, our third step is knowing that the vibrant health we desire, the loving relationships we wish to see manifest in our life, all of those things that we would like to see happen, the peace that we wish to see out there in the external world, that those things are happening now. It isn't, I'm asking for that to be done, it's I'm knowing that it is done. And so we come into this fourth step and say, thank you for knowing, for this knowing. Thank you for it being that. Thank you for it being alive. One of my colleagues, Reverend Diane Harmony, wrote a book called 5 Gifts. She actually put together a very nice class too. It's wonderful. 5 Gifts for the Abundant Life. in there she tells us that gratitude is the grace that revisions. She hyphenates that word, revisions, to recast our vision, revisions our linear lives, working magic with every strand of the past, the present, and the future. Eric Butterworth, one of my favorite Unity ministers, wrote a book called Spiritual Economics. And in there, he just pegged it, guys. He said, Thanksgiving is not just a reactionary emotion. It isn't an effect. It is a causative energy. It is an all-effective key by which anyone may meet life fully empowered. When we claim gratitude, when we claim Thanksgiving and live that from a place of knowing that whatever we want to see happen is done, we literally change the universe. When we live gratitude, what we do is we change whatever it is that we desire to manifest. Remember that when we are working with this, we are very much quantum scientists in the laboratory. We're looking at all the 1,000,001 possibilities that could be. We are selecting one. We are focusing on that one. And scientifically, we are going from moving that in what they call the wave state to it collapsing into form. That's a scientific term. When we say something collapses into form, okay, that means it moves into the physical, okay, into the particle. That's another scientific quantum science kind of term. We are saying it is fully realized. It is here and it is now. When we approach something from that place, from gratitude, from that place in gratitude, we make it happen. Okay? We bring it about. It can't not. It can't not. Okay? Now, Mae McCarthy knows this. Mae wrote a little book called The Power of Wealth. Mae is a millionaire over and over and over. She's also the sister of a minister friend of mine, Sharon Ramey, out in the Pacific Northwest. But that's neither here nor there. Mae has created $1 million business after $1 million business. And in her book, what she has is a 7-step recipe for manifesting what we want to see. It might not be business success. It might be a happier, healthier body. It might be more harmony in our homes. How many of you have teenagers? Oh, okay, Drama City, right? Okay. How many of you go to work every day? It might be more harmony in the workplace. It might be people actually coming up saying, that was really great. I loved what you did. I loved what you said. Thank you very much. Rather than, I'm holding you hostage. I'm letting you down. Okay? Mae suggests we write her gratitude down, that we put it on paper. I'm so grateful for, fill in the blank, whatever it is we want to see come about. And then we happy dance. We just know it and feel it and excuse me, I'm having issues with my throat this weekend. I guess I need to know my throat is happy, don't I? Okay? And we feel that experience in form. Okay? We feel the relief. I've had the coolest experience the last week. Okay? I have been working now. I have had a financial responsibility that I have carried for 11 years. Okay? And in the last year or so, I have been, this thing is history. Okay, I am, sometimes it takes a little irritation for me to really fire up there, okay? Get all the cylinders rolling, okay, and get real clear, okay? So I have been writing every morning. I am so happy and grateful for that is paid off. It is zeroed out. It is done. It is gone. It is history. I'm grateful for having it. I'm grateful for every payment I made, and I'm really grateful that it's gone, okay? And now that it's gone, I'm going to go eat at Guadalupe Cafe, and I'm going to go shopping, and I'm going to go to the beach, and I'm going to play. I'm going to have the cats are like, she's on a roll, get out of the way, okay? Yeah, okay, it like stirs some things up. I just got a $2,100 raise.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. When I found it, I was like, I'm going right back into that living room in that chair, and I'm getting back. I'm going to do it again. Okay. Let's see what will happen next. Okay. I love it. Okay. I love making stuff show up. Okay. Why does this work, guys? Because we put thought And then we put feeling together. And when we wrap those two babies up, okay, it's really huge. It's really powerful. I know all of you have driven down the road and you've seen, like, you know how now, in fact, this is one of them. You know how when they build a metal building, okay, they come in, they do the foundation, and then they begin to put up this metal skeleton, okay? Well, that thought and feeling together, when we get into that and we get clear, that is like that metal skeleton of that building. Without it, the building will not survive, will it? With it, the building may withstand huge storm, okay? Huge adversity, okay? That thought and that feeling together literally create that scaffolding upon which the universe can help us bring forth what we want to see, okay? It's huge. Now, when you came in, you may have noticed some sticky notes. That reminds me, Tony told me to write it down. Don't let me forget it, okay? I wrote it down and I didn't do it, okay? When you came in, you saw some sticky notes on your chair, okay? So this is your homework assignment if you choose to accept it. And I know who you are, okay? This one's easy. You can do this in 5 minutes and it'll rock your world all week, okay? If you have more sticky notes or if you want more, we'll give you some more too. We got plenty of them, okay? What you do is you take these sticky notes that you've got and you just write thank you on them. And then you hide them. You put them in your medicine cabinet. You put them on the shelf where your coffee is in the morning so you can't, or on your, like right on the lens of the glasses might help. I'd really see it that way, okay? You put it on your water bottle, okay? Or on the horn in your car when you get out of the vehicle so that the next time you get in, you see it. And this is huge. What it does is it doesn't just thank the universe for the things that are good that are going on in our lives. It reminds us, oh, there's that word again, that word she likes to hyphenate, re-mind, okay? It reminds us to be gratitude, to live from that place of, yes, my life is absolutely outstanding. It couldn't hardly get any better if it tried. Well, it couldn't. I can think of some ways, but, we won't go there right now, okay? But you take these little sticky notes, write thank you on them, put them in your domain, okay? And come back here next week and tell us what it felt like when you saw one of those, okay? I was at work this week and Mike was at the house. I know all of you have this kind of cabinet. It's where all the plastic stuff lives. Oh my God. You open the door in 8 pieces. It's a good thing that they're plastic because they hit me in the head all the time. He put every lid with every container and he made them all go back up in there so pretty and nice. Now I can see everything at a glance. So I thought, well, I say thank you to him and, no offense, guys. He's a guy, okay? He's just going to shrug off, thank you. So I wrote a sticky note, and I put it in there, and I put it in, I'm like, I don't know if you've seen it yet or not, but we'll see. There go the sticky notes. At any rate, do that and come back and tell us what you think, okay? So that is the 4-step. Gratitude is the 4th step of 5 steps of spiritual mind treatment or prayer. Last week we will be talking about the 5th step, which is letting it all go. That's huge. I have no idea what we're going to talk about because that can be a pretty strong thing, okay? We'll be looking to all of you to come back in and tell us how the homework went, okay? So, as we close today, I just want to talk for a minute because we've had some really incredible world events in the last 7 or 8 days. I don't have regular TV. So when I came in here last Sunday, I had not heard about the situation that occurred in Orlando last week. I just need to say, and I need to say it for me, that I have many, many friends and family that are part of the LGBTQ community. Alphabet Soup City is just driving me crazy. I also have a lot of friends who are Muslim. I have a Science of Mind minister friend who's a Muslim. Okay, that is his religion. He's a Science of Mind minister. Okay, I've never known a more peaceful, peace-embodying individual in my life. Okay, so when things like this happen, I really feel touched and torn up and questioning. I think all of us do. We look at world events like this and we say, why does this stuff happen? What is the meaning of this? And once we get past the trauma and the impact, we look around and go, and what can we do about it? I'm just one person, what can I do? And even though I know that I have strong intention and a lot of clarity, you know, it doesn't feel like it's enough, okay? I think it is very, very, very important for us as a metaphysically minded community to be very conscious and very clear about how we perceive these events. I believe that this kind of an event, such as what happened at Pulse last week, is truly horrendous. I don't know that we will ever have answers about this. When people come to me for answers, well, I'm like, oh crap. The children in the room, right? Okay, don't know.
Short neck.
Yeah, exactly, short neck, yeah. I believe one thing, and that is that these kinds of events are huge messages to us that we must live consciously, that we must think and think clearly about how we speak, how we think, how we behave, and what it is that we send out in the world. And I know in my world it is all too easy to have what I might refer to as a casual conversation in the office or on the phone and kind of say things I don't really believe or mean. It's time for us to stop that. It's time for us to get really clear that if we are a part of the light, if we are a part of the healing, we have to, first and foremost, regulate what is going on at home, right here. So how do we do this? It's a huge challenge, I know. I deal with many people, as Gil mentioned, every day, from all kinds of backgrounds, all kinds of attitudes, all kinds of demeanors, all kinds of races and religions, and everybody's kind of got their own little, you know, twerk on it, if you will, okay? One of my minister colleagues posted last night on our minister's listserv, and she didn't even start out saying, this is my response to Orlando, this is my response to the violence and the horrendous stuff that goes on in our world. She just opened an email and said, this is what I want for everyone who reads this to know, that there is good going on in the world. There is good every time this happens, and every time that happens, and every time, you know, and she enumerated these things that she saw as good, as changing the world, creating a world that is working better, more effectively, and cleaner and clearer for every one of us, okay? And it really sparked me. At the end, she said, this is my response to Orlando. That may seem very simplistic, and yet we recognize in Science of Mind that Ernest Holmes was very clear in his teaching that what is our responsibility to do is to turn away from the conditions we do not want to see manifest and to focus solely and only and consistently on what we wish to bring about. That is huge, okay? That is an overarching principle in this metaphysical teaching. You see, Ernest knew that whatever we would focus on would grow. If we focus on the hate and the pain and the violence, that hate and pain and violence will beget more hate and pain and violence. And there's a lot of things I want people to say about me when I'm dead in another 300 years. But I don't want anybody going and saying, she helped create a lot of, you know, hate, pain, and violence, okay? You know, really, let's just not go there, okay? As I look you in the eye, as you are here and you hear this morning, please recognize that it is our responsibility, and that responsibility to change the nature of the world begins at home. It begins with what we say. It begins with what we believe. It begins with whether we pay lip service to spiritual practice or actually do it, okay? Because that is the change that we will see in the world. It is up to us. The violence in Orlando is not a random act of one deranged soul. It is the result of mass consciousness. It is the result of every one of us on this planet. And we have to look beyond that and see that there is good present. You turn on your TV tonight or look at Facebook, and what you will see is millions driving down whatever that is, I-4 or whatever, going to Orlando. The traffic was so bad last Sunday. Last Sunday during the service, my almost 6-year-old daughter who lives in Tampa texts me, "What's my blood type?" Well, I didn't know anything about Orlando, and I freaked when I got the message. Like, "What's wrong with you?" She's like, "Nothing, Mom. Didn't you hear about Orlando?" I was like, "No." The traffic was so bad she couldn't get there. People going to Orlando to give blood. Okay, I'm not driving all the way to Orlando. Okay, I can't get there. That would road trip really fast. Okay, we have to be airplane trip. Okay, we have to get Lewis to fly us down there or something. Okay, but really, we are responsible for this. And we have the capacity to change this, and we do it with our spiritual practice, and with our thought, and with our prayer, and with us beginning to ever more deeply internalize principles of integrity in those areas. We have the choice to either feed that mass consciousness from a place of positive clarity and love, or to send out more negativity. Which will it be? We have to focus on the good that is going on. Now, if you, as I do, struggle with this, you look at the world and go, okay, this week I just had to turn it all off. It just hurt too bad. It hurt too bad. I had to shut it all down for a while, okay? If you struggle with seeing the good, then start writing it down. Start listing it. Carry a little notebook with you. We gave you one about 5 or 6 weeks ago when we started this whole prayer situation, okay, that we've been on, okay? If you don't have that notebook, find something else. Write down the good you see in the world. It doesn't have to be huge, guys. Did you feed your pets within the last 24 hours? Yeah, like 11 times. They're cats, okay, and they eat wet food, That's a good. It really is. What else is good? You heard that your neighbor's baby was born, and mom and baby are both fine. Well, just step back for that for a minute. That's all nice and well, isn't it? I'm real happy for those people. Think about the science that has gone into making that possible. 100 years ago, I don't know how his mother managed with 9 births in the wilds of Maine. Women died all the time in childbirth. Okay? Think about the people who came together in that hospital setting and carried her through that in love. Think about the fact that that baby is going home to a loving home. It's not getting flung out, someplace because nobody wants it. All of that is good. Write that good down. What else is good? Go on Facebook after tonight. And I guarantee you will see pictures of people and their dads saying, "We had a really nice Father's Day." For some people, that's God working in their life. Because that hadn't always been the best of relationships. Maybe it hasn't even ever been a relationship. That's good. Write that down. Make a list of the good you see that's happened in the last 24 hours. And the next time some turkey at the water fountain says, "Oh my gosh, what's going on in my life? It's just horrendous." Turn it around on them. Take that shit, pick it up, and sling that sucker back around the way it came. And change what they're sending out, and change yourself too. We're going to watch this clip, which is good going on in the world.
Давайте. Ну, молодцы. Чуть-чуть еще. Девушка-фармер там держит. Чуть-чуть. Yahoo!
Amazing. When he was a child, Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers, used to go to his mom. He used to watch the evening news. He was a very sensitive child, and he would be very upset at the situations he saw in the world. He's a little bit older probably than I am, but my guess is that he probably saw the beginnings of the Vietnam conflict on TV. I don't really know. He was deeply troubled, and his mother told him, "Son, turn your sight to where the helpers are. Look for the people that are helping. That is what you need to attend to. Look for the good. Look for the place where God in action is involved in all of life. And bring that out. Show that to people. It will change their world." Well, I ask Frank to pass these out. I'll look him up. No, I'm sorry, he's praying. So, this is a little reading that comes from Ernest. You can choose to use it as homework or not. You don't have to. I won't ask about this next week. How about that? I might ask, but it's not homework. This is called A Prayer for My Country. This is another one of my favorite readings from Ernest Holmes. Everyone is welcome to take a copy. I think we have plenty, so you can take more than one if you'd like to. This is beautiful. In a moment, we're going to recite this together. I suggest, as you read it for yourself this week, that you change one small thing. I think Ernest would be in agreement to this. That rather than focus on this for just the United States, that you focus on this for all the world. The world needs this. It needs what we have to give it. I need a copy to read from. I didn't put it in my notes. So you can change this any way you want to. I always like to pull this out when we're going into an election year. So yeah, and you know, it's great because it's like, you know, it has no preference. So let's read this, if you will, together. Okay, we're going to close this way. It's my prayer for my country. Believing in the divine destiny of the United States of America and in the preservation of liberty, security, and self-expression for all, I offer this, my prayer for my country. I know that divine intelligence governs the destiny of the United States of America, directing the thought and the activity of all who guide its affairs. I know that success, prosperity, and happiness are gifts of freedom and are the divine heritage of everyone in this country. I know that success, prosperity, and happiness are now operating in the affairs of every individual in this country. I know that divine guidance enlightens the collective mind of the people of this country, causing it to know that economic security may come to all without the loss of either personal freedom or individual self-expression. I know that no one can believe or be led to believe that freedom must be surrendered in order to ensure economic security for all. The all-knowing mind contains the answer to every problem which confronts this country. I know that every leader in this country is now directed by this all-knowing mind and has the knowledge of a complete solution to every problem. Each is compelled to act upon this knowledge to the end that abundance, security, and peace shall come to all. And I know that the spirit of democracy shall endure, guaranteeing to everyone in this country personal liberty, happiness, and self-expression. And so it is. Thank you so much. Thank you, and thank Dr. Holmes, and thank you for being here.